What's up, PvZ fans? It's Strangelove here, and I'm back to show you guys some more Easter eggs in Garden Warfare. And for this video, I'm going to show you guys all of the Easter eggs that I know about in the map Driftwood Shores. Now, some of these Easter eggs you probably already know about, like the Zelda and Peggle ones, but there's also some of them that might be new to you. And since the Driftwood Shores map seems to have a whole bunch of little gaming and pop culture references in it, I figured it would be nice to compile all of those Easter eggs into one video. Now, I'm showing you all of the Easter eggs that I know about on Driftwood Shores, but I might have missed some, so if I miss any major ones from this map, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys these Easter eggs in the order that they appear on the map for the most part, and I don't think there's any in the first garden, so we're going to move on to the second garden. Alright, so the first set of major Easter eggs that we find at the second garden of Driftwood Shores is, of course, the Zelda Easter eggs, which you guys probably already know about if you saw my video on those a while back, but I'm going to show them to you guys again since they are on the Driftwood Shores map. So on the right-hand side of the second garden, if you look over to the shore, you have a big red boat that says King of Red Dandelions, which is, of course, a reference to the King of Red Lions boat in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and that was one of my favorite Zeldas, so that was a pretty obvious reference. Now, if you follow the shore down to the back side of the boat and look across the water, on the horizon you'll see Outset Island, which is also from Wind Waker, and we're actually seeing it from the back side of Outset Island, so the island chain is reversed, but there's no doubt that that is Outset Island, so we definitely have some Zelda fans on the Garden Warfare design team. And next to the King of Red Dandelions boat, there is also a blue boat that says Peapod, which is most likely a reference to the Plants vs. Zombies games that feature pea pods in it, and it also looks like it has little pea images next to it, so that's probably what this is referencing. Now, if we look around at some of the signs and billboards, they say a lot of different things, and one of them says Crazy Beard's Twitty Dinkies, which is a reference to Crazy Dave's Twitty Dinks from Plants vs. Zombies, and it was basically a shop run by Crazy Dave where you could buy different merchandise, so this is definitely a reference to that. Now, there's a couple different signs and billboards that have people's names on them, and these might be references to either employees at PopCap or EA, that's just my guess. This one that says Marley's Sea Salt, I think might be a reference to Ziggy Marley, Bob Marley's son, because he does sell herbal remedies and such, so I'm not really sure about that one, but I'm just gonna throw that out there. Now, there's one more sign that makes an appearance on this map in multiple spots, and it says Porous Bob's Scuba Supplies and Neckties. And of course, this was a pretty obvious reference to SpongeBob SquarePants, and he's pretty much known for wearing neckties, and the sign itself has some spongy lettering, so for all of you cartoon fans out there, this was a pretty obvious reference. Alright, so this next Easter egg is on the way to the docks, and it's a sign that says Soggy Snakes, Eye Patches, and such. And I didn't think much of this sign at first, but eventually I realized that this is most likely a reference to the Metal Gear series. And in Metal Gear, Snake is known to have an eye patch, so I feel like this is a pretty solid Easter egg. Get it? Solid? Alright, anyway, moving on. So as you make your way up the docks, we see a sign for Card Shark Arcade, which I think is just a witty pun. And over to the right, we see our next Easter egg that says The Rapture Seaside Construction Contracting, and this is definitely a reference to Bioshock. And for those of you who haven't played Bioshock, it takes place in a city called Rapture, which is located deep underwater, and this sign even has some city buildings that look like the ones from the game, so this was a pretty cool reference. Now, there's one more sign down the docks that's not really a video game reference, but there's a sign that says Cuddle Raven Inn/Morgue, which is most likely a reference to Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. I'm not quite sure why that one's in there, but I figured I'd mention it anyway. Now, this next Easter egg stares us right in the face whenever we play this map, and it's the big giant octopus on the building that says Aquarium. Now, I'm not 100% positive on this one, but I'm pretty sure this is a reference to Insane Aquarium, which is an older PopCap game that features a lot of different aquatic creatures similar to this one. However, I couldn't find an octopus that looks like this from that game, so I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna say that this is an Insane Aquarium reference. Alright, so this Easter egg is actually a pretty major one, and I didn't realize this one was there until a YouTube user named TheFatMess posted it on Reddit. But all you have to do is traverse up the little hills in front of the right side of the castle, and if we look behind a rock up against the castle wall, we see a Dragon Age Inquisition Easter egg. We have the very distinctive Inquisitor helmet hanging off of a sword, just like the one that's found on the Jewel Junction map, but this time we see a chest with some red lyrium growing out of it, and all of these things are of course found in Dragon Age Inquisition. And we know that the different EA developers love to reference each other's games with Easter eggs, and in Dragon Age Inquisition they actually had a Garden Warfare Easter egg in there as well, so it's not a surprise that we get to see this one, but it's still a pretty cool Easter egg nonetheless. Alright, so this next Easter egg is located on the Wobbu pirate ship on the right-hand side, and credit for this Easter egg goes to community member Red LGB's son, Logan, who wanted me to call him Derppad, so kudos to you, Derppad, for finding this one. And all you have to do to find this Easter egg is head to the back of the ship and you'll see these little crates on the ground. Now, if you shoot these crates with something like the spike shot, or in this case the future shot, you'll see that they burst open with all sorts of little goodies. There are some little colorful gems from Bejeweled, as well as the Suburban Almanac, which is from the original Plants vs. Zombies games, and we also see a couple little cute bookworms on the ground, which is of course a reference to the old PopCap game Bookworm. And the stuff in the box only lasts for a few seconds on the ground, so if you're showing somebody, make sure that they're ready to go before you shoot the boxes open. Also, when I tried shooting the boxes with the chemist, it didn't work, so just make sure you're using something like the cactus, and it should work every time. Now, this next Easter egg is one that I've already talked about in a previous video, but I didn't want to leave it off the list, and it's the Peggle Easter Egg. So what happens is when you shoot yourself out of the cannon toward the Mega Flower as a plant, Ode to Joy will play, which is definitely a reference to Peggle. And even though this song plays at the end of Gnome Bomb, having it play while you're being shot out of a cannon is a much more obvious Peggle reference. Alright you guys, last but not least, there's one more pretty major video game Easter egg that can be found at the Mega Flower on Driftwood Shores. And credit goes out to James Parrot on Twitter for finding this Easter egg and letting me know about it. I definitely wouldn't have found this one otherwise. Now, this Easter egg is located on the right-hand side of the Mega Flower, and I've found that it's best to use either the Garlic Drone or the Zombot Drone to get to it. So take your drone and fly around to the right-hand side of the footbridge, and up on a little rock on the edge of a cliff, you'll see something glowing, and if you zoom in a little bit closer, you'll see that it actually says, "Praise the Sunflower." Now, you don't have to be a Sunbro Covenant member to recognize that this is definitely a reference to Dark Souls and the Souls series in general. Now, if you're not familiar with this Dark Souls reference, basically in Dark Souls you can leave these glowing messages on the ground for other players, and it became sort of a thing to leave a message that said "Praise the Sun," and usually people would leave these messages either up on a cliff or on a hill somewhere pretty hard to reach, or somewhere where you can have a good clear view of the sun, or in this case, the sunflower. So I think this is a pretty perfect Dark Souls reference. And like I said before, the easiest way to see this Easter egg is with the drones, but I was able to go back and sort of maneuver my way up to the cliff to get a close-up look of this Easter egg as well, and depending on what character you are, you should be able to get up there fairly easily. And it's kind of funny that this is in here because whenever I see the campfires at the beginning of Driftwood Shores, I always thought that they should have made it into some sort of Dark Souls campfire reference, but it turns out that they did give us a Dark Souls Easter egg after all, and I think this one is even better. Alright you guys, that does it for all the Easter eggs that I'm aware of on the map Driftwood Shores in Garden Warfare. Let me know which Easter egg was your favorite in the comments below. Also, if you want to stay up to date on all of my Garden Warfare videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and feel free to check out the playlist that I've linked on the screen. As always, thank you so much for watching, stay strange my loves, and until next time, this is Strangelove, signing out.